Today we're going to be reacting to a video of a bomb that I've never heard of, and you might not have either. Let's check it out.
What are the consequences of the most powerful hydrogen bomb explosion? A destructive shockwave, sweeping away everything in its path. The strongest rays of light, penetrating radiation. Houses are leveled to the ground. Fires are blazing everywhere. And those who survive by some miracle will suffer a painful death from radiation sickness or cancer. But could there be anything worse than this? Unfortunately,
Maybe an asteroid strike?
yes. And that's a cobalt bomb.
Okay, I have never heard of a cobalt bomb. Leave it in the comments if any of you guys have ever heard of it.
In the next 10 minutes, I'll tell you how one of the most terrible weapons of mass destruction in human history works. You'll find out if there's at least a chance of survival after such a bombing, and how much cobalt is needed to destroy the Earth. In reality, it's difficult to create a weapon that surpasses the cobalt bomb. In 1945, the first nuclear explosion in history took place. Several scientists came together for the creation of this deadly weapon, including Leo Szilard. Then, nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But Szilard didn't stop his research. In 1950, he spoke about the concept of the cobalt bomb, a weapon with the power to potentially destroy humanity. Its structure is very simple. The cobalt bomb is a thermonuclear bomb encased in cobalt-59. It's the only stable isotope of cobalt found in nature. But it doesn't make the nuclear bomb even more destructive, and won't increase the height of the nuclear mushroom or the power of light radiation.
So now it's got me curious. If it doesn't increase the strength of the bomb, what does it do?
The main damaging factor of a cobalt bomb is the maximum possible radiation contamination of the area after the explosion. Have
So it increases the area that the radiation can contaminate.
you ever heard about dirty bombs? A cobalt bomb can be called super dirty. So, if a cobalt bomb is dropped to Earth for a while until it reaches the ground, nothing happens. It's just a shell. But as soon as the bomb detonates, the reaction begins. The source of energy for the explosion are processes similar to the processes taking place in the sun and other stars. A thermonuclear weapon has much higher potential explosion power than a conventional nuclear bomb. It's limited only by the number of components that its creators use. So, the Tsar Bomba was designed for 100 megatons, but then the charge was reduced to 58. A bomb of 100 megatons could wipe out any city from the face of the Earth: London, Boston, Paris. But back to the topic of the video. The cobalt bomb has just detonated, but the cobalt itself has not even begun to act. When the bomb explodes, neutrons from the fusion reaction convert cobalt-59 into radioactive cobalt-60, which is vaporized when it explodes. After a while, it condenses and falls back to Earth along with dust and debris. As it falls, it contaminates everything around. Cobalt-60 has a half-life of just over 5 years. This is enough to generate powerful radiation. You won't be able to wait in the shelters until it's over. The area will remain contaminated for too long, perhaps even longer than a human life. For understanding, I'll give you a simple example. The radiation consequences of an ordinary hydrogen bomb by the 6-month mark, or even earlier, already poses less danger to humans. At the same time, a cobalt bomb can poison the affected area for decades. Theoretically, it'll be possible to stay there, but not to live permanently. And if on the day of the
If you notice a change in the light, I had to turn on my light because it was starting to get too dark in the room.
explosion, the wind gusts turn out to be strong enough, then the radioactive fallout will be carried across a huge distance. According to the words of the American scholar Stephen Schwartz, a cobalt bomb explosion in Washington, D.C. could lead to contamination of the Canadian or Mexican soil. And judging by the
That's a really big area. That could almost wipe out a whole entire country.
information published by the Federation of American Scientists, the consequences will be much more terrible than in your worst nightmares. If the bomb contains even 9 grams or 0.3 of an ounce of cobalt-60, it would detonate with the force of 4.5 kilograms or 10 pounds of TNT. Such a weapon, activated on the outskirts of Manhattan, would render the entire area uninhabitable for years to come. Suppose that the fallout from a 60-kilogram or 132-pound cobalt bomb releases 10 sieverts per hour radiation doses over a distance of 100 kilometers or 62 miles. Under these conditions, any unprotected person will receive enough radiation to die within 2 to 3 weeks. In more than 5 years, when the first half-life is over, the radiation intensity in the affected area will be 5 sieverts per hour.
Listening and looking at this, it kind of reminds me of Chernobyl and the nuclear incident that happened at the nuclear power station there.
Under these conditions, without serious medical attention, half of the people will die within 1 to 2 months, and the survivors will have a high probability of developing cancer. That is, theoretically, you can be exposed to such radiation for less than 60 minutes and survive, but will have to say goodbye to good health. After a period of time equal to 10 half-lives, which is about 53 years, the dose rate will drop to about 10 millisieverts per hour. This means that you would have spent from 1 to 4 days in the contaminated zone without fatal consequences. For comparison, a person receives a dose of 30 millisieverts from dental x-rays, but a walk-through...
That's crazy. 53 years and it's still radioactive.
through the contaminated area isn't advisable. After 4 days, the likelihood of gene mutations would double. And with an irradiation of 300 millisieverts, the first signs of radiation sickness will appear. When a period of time equal to 20 half-lives has passed, which will be more than a century, the dose rate will be reduced to about 1 microsievert per hour. At this stage, people may remain in the affected region without protection, even on a permanent basis. Not just occasionally visiting the ruined city, but even living in it. They would not be at risk of radiation sickness, but the radiation levels will still be high enough. This will lead to an increase in the number of cancer patients. And now, after 25 half-lives, that's about 130 years, the intensity of exposure to cobalt-60 will drop to the level of natural background radiation.
I think that was 130 years it would take for the radiation to drop to normal levels, normal background. That's just insane. And who knows? We have no way of knowing if a country who possesses nuclear weapons have developed a bomb like this. I mean, it's possible.
About 4/100ths of a microsievert per hour. For example, about the same background radiation in Finland. But this is far from the worst thing. The Cobalt Bomb is considered to be a doomsday device, a hypothetical device capable, when triggered, to destroy all life on Earth, or even the Earth itself. Leo Szilard was also convinced that such a weapon could put an end to humanity, and data from open sources confirms that he is right. To ensure contamination of the entire surface of the Earth at a level of 1 gram or 3/100ths of an ounce for every square kilometer or 3/10ths of a square mile, it takes about 510 tons of cobalt-60. If the isotope is evenly distributed throughout the planet, then such a bomb can completely destroy humanity, and at the same time, all animals. Of course, not everyone will die instantly, but no one will have a chance of survival, except for tardigrades. However,
Should have guessed tardigrades. I watched a video one time. I think it was titled something about the most resilient creature on the planet, and it talked about tardigrades. Apparently, they can survive in space.
there are 2 items of good news. First, according to research in 1957 in Maralinga, cobalt-59 is not as actively irradiated by neutron flux as scientists thought. This means that even with a powerful explosion of radioactive isotope, little results will be obtained. Secondly, radioactive fallout of cobalt-60 falls unevenly. Even if the wind blows it over a long distance, there will be clean zones. So people have a chance of survival. The main thing is to be in the right place at the right time.
It would still be catastrophic and still be large areas of land that wouldn't be inhabited for decades, maybe even centuries.
And finally, a fact that has reassured me a little. Today, a cobalt bomb is considered as only a theoretical modification of a nuclear weapon. Despite this, cobalt-60 is actively used in various fields. For example, for the sterilization of medical equipment. But
I did not know that. That's interesting that cobalt-60 is used to sterilize medical equipment.
no one on Earth has yet produced hydrogen bombs in a cobalt shell. Anyway, this is according to the official data that I managed to find. But is a cobalt bomb worth serious concern? Everyone must decide for themselves. After all, who knows what information is hiding under the heading Top Secret? If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe.
Okay, that's going to be it for today's video. I'll leave a link to the original video in the video description below. And if you guys have any suggestions of something you want me to react to, please leave it in the comments section.